Episode number 17, Little Roddy Learns to Swim. On one of my big brother Gary's Boy Scout camping trips to the Blessed Sacrament Boy Scout cabin in Bedford, I tagged along. I was 7 years younger, but was invited anyway. Gary decided that I needed to learn how to swim. I was 7, as I said, and still unable to swim. The Murphys are swimmers. In our family, if you are not a strong swimmer, you were considered strange. There was a small bridge over the Shawshene River near Pinehurst that was our favorite swimming hole for the Cambridge Scouts. There was a deep hole in the river on the east side of the bridge, which provided safe diving. The boys, all much older than I, would dive off the bridge, swim around, dunk each other, generally horse around, and then climb up onto the bridge and dive in again. I had no idea of my coming education. After World War II, there was much Army surplus gear available cheap. The Scouts had at least 2 yellow inflatable Army surplus boats. The boats were thrown in the river and used for advanced horseplay. Gary said to me without warning, "It's time you learned how to swim." Then he promptly picked me up and threw me off the bridge into the river. He threw a rubber boat into the river near the shore furthest away from me. He loudly warned me to swim or drown. I was going under, and coming back up, I was kicking and splashing and thoroughly panicked. The water was cold, deep, and black. I looked to the boat, and then I looked to the shore and started sinking, splashing, and spitting. Yet my splashing was somehow moving me towards the closer shore. Today I realized the distance was not far, and Gary was ready to dive in and pull me out if I went under for too long. At that time, I thought I was going to drown. I made it to the shore, and all the scouts applauded me. That dramatic experience caused me to lose my fear of jumping into over-my-head water, and I actually did learn to swim that way. I still swim laps twice a week at the local YMCA. I do not recommend Gary's radical pedagogical method for learning to swim, however. Dad told me a story about the annual swimming relay race down the Charles River early in the 20th century. The Murphy boys were all good swimmers and often entered that race. My uncles, Mike, Neil, Tim, and my father, would each swim a certain leg of the race. I think the race began at the Elliott Bridge, and the relay races swam under the Lars Anderson, Weeks, Western Avenue, and River Street bridges before ending up at the Cottage Farm Bridge near Magazine Beach. Dad said the crowds along the river were huge and boisterous. The Murphys won this race at least once, according to Dad. The Charles later became very polluted, and such swimming races were ended. Although in my youth I swam in the river, it's a wonder that I did not catch the creeping crud. Today the river is cleaned up. Thank you for viewing or listening to my podcast episode. I really appreciate it. If you liked it, and if you so choose, I ask you to send a good review and perhaps refer friends who might be interested in this podcast series. Again, my thanks.